Um, okay, the first thing I want to, like I always do, um, I always have my second computer hooked up, and I've got that again tonight. I made it my co-host so I can share the screen on it. So right now I'm going to share the screen on my second laptop. And this is it right here. Do you all see that?
Zoom.
Yeah, it says Zoom.
Down
Oh,
here
yeah.
in down here in the lower right-hand corner is a rectangle, and it might be that the faces of everybody that's logged in is taking up some of that space. So what you could do is you could go up to the top bar of all the faces, and there's four symbols up there, and the one on the far left is just like an underbar. If you click on that, all the faces will come up into a small, uh, I don't know what you would call it.
No, neither.
It just collapses it.
It
just
minimizes it.
It minimizes that whole. And now you see what I want you to do is see what is in that lower right hand corner.
Oh.
This thing keeps popping up, and it says turn on Windows backup. Remind me again in 1 week. Let's get started. If you don't know if you've set up OneDrive, you do not want to do this. If you don't know about OneDrive, you don't want to do this. So that bar, I never clicked on. I always X out of it. Say no thanks.
That's easy.
But see where it says remind me again in 1 week? It says 30 days. Just click on no thanks.
Doesn't do it.
No thanks. And what will happen is it'll disappear. And if it pops up again, just clicking on no thanks. Just
Okay.
don't go along with it.
Okay.
I don't have time to explain what happens, but you don't want to do it. All right. So I am done sharing on that computer now. Everything I'm going to do on my one computer, I was talking with Brookie beforehand. This thing called Restore Points goes back, I know, to at least Windows 7, if not even earlier. And I think it did go back to some other things in the past, because I remember using this just about on every system of Windows I ever had. And it's something you want on your computer. Windows 11, if I'm not, I might be incorrect, but I think by default they turn it off. At least that was at the beginning, and I think enough people complained they turned it back on. It was still there. It was just up to you to go in and turn it on. So what you do, let me talk about what a restore point is. When you create a restore point, Windows does it automatically when it's doing a major update. If it's turned on, when you do a major update, and you don't have to know when a major update occurs, computer automatically creates a restore point. The restore point is a picture of the system that controls your computer. It gets a complete picture of the system at the date and the time it says. So if I created a restore point 5 weeks ago and I looked at it, if I looked at that restore point and used it, what it would do is it would move my computer back to the way it was, what did I say, 5 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Okay, it would take the system that's in my computer now, get rid of it, and restore what I had 5 weeks ago. All the programs that have been installed in those 5 weeks will not be on the computer anymore. All the updates you did during those 5 weeks are gone. The nice thing is it doesn't touch your files. So if you created a whole slew of files since 5 weeks ago, it won't touch your files. It only touches things in the system, and it restores it to that point in time. Now, why would you ever want to use one of these things? Well, in the past year and a half, I have had 3 people that their computer was, it was doing crazy things. One person's, he came over, and I've read of a way to get into the system where you can get in to try and fix things, even if it won't boot correctly. And we were able to get into his computer and find a restore point that was dated about 6 months prior to the date we were looking at it. And we restored it to that point. And all of a sudden, his computer started working properly again. Of course, he had to go through all the updates. And if he installed programs in that past 6 months, he had to reinstall them. But the problem disappeared because the problem was in the system of the computer. The difficulty is getting to the point where you can use a restore point. That was the hard part in all 3 people I helped, but it worked. So how in your computer, and I'm going to start sharing my screen now. Well, come on. There we go. Choose that one and go. And I need to get rid of that. And I'm moving you all over to my second monitor so I can see all of you at the same time while I'm doing this. So if you see my head turning to the side, I'm just looking to see if you're still awake. All right, now. Okay. What you do is you open up, you do a search. I'm using a Windows 11 computer. If you're using a Windows 10 computer, like I said, everything is the same. What you want to do is you want to search. So I clicked on search down here on the taskbar, and it opens up the start window, and I start typing. And if you read what I type, you don't search for restore point. You go system. Where am I? System restore. And what will happen, system restore, I didn't type it all in, didn't need to. Up here, it says create a restore point. That's what it found, but that's what you want. So you click on that, and it opens this window right here. And I'm going to put that in the middle of my screen. And here's the unfortunate thing. You cannot change its size. You cannot make it larger. You can't make it smaller. You can move it where it is on the screen. So I'm putting it right in the middle of my screen. And what you want to do is this thing has some tabs up here at the top. So notice computer name, hardware, advanced, system protection, and remote. You want to make sure you're on the system protection tab. If you're not, you want to click on that tab. And on the first page, I've got that in red. The system protection, the system properties, or
protection.
You see it, Don?
Okay. This is the system properties window. right here. You want to come down here. I've got 2 hard drives in this computer, and I've got a USB drive that I'm using for my backup program. So it shows all my major drives here. You don't need to do anything except for the one called system. If it says on, you're fine. It is on. If it says off, and I'm going to go through the step because I want to show you, you click on it, so you highlight it. And then you come down here to the word configure. All right, you come down here to configure, and you click on configure. And it opens up this other window. I'm just going to put it right on top of the other one so we don't get them mixed up. And you want to make sure the dot is on turn on system protection. I don't know if it was this Windows 11 or might have been my other Windows 11 computer. It came up and it was disabled. And I had to turn it on. I think they changed it. This one came up, it was on. The other thing you want to do, down here, there's a slide bar. You can take that bar and change how much space you use on your hard drive for system restores. If you got something like a terabyte or a 500 gigabyte drive, you don't need to make this more than about 10%, if I can get it right on 10. Everybody puts it on 10. Some people go up to 20. What that means is it's going to take up 20% of your hard drive just for system restores. And once you're done, what you have to do, once you've clicked on turn it on and you made sure how much space it uses is correct, you click OK.
No,
What?
you're not clicking OK.
I am going to.
Okay.
And that window
Says apply.
Okay. So now I'm back in that one system properties window. If you want to create, I recommend, again, build into your system, it will automatically do restore points for major updates. I recommend if you got a new piece of software, you create a restore point before you install that software. So if you got a piece of software you're getting ready to install, you create a restore point before you install it. Then once you've created the restore point, you install your software. If something goes wrong on the computer and you try and uninstall that piece of software and you're not having luck, you can get in and you can restore your computer to the restore point you created before you installed that software.
I think this
because that restore point, the system did not have that software in it. So it will restore your computer the way it was before that software was put on your computer. But you have to make a note to do that. I did that about 2 months ago when I was putting a VPN system on my computer. The first one I tried messed up my emails app. I mean, it just was not functioning right. It's doing, and I said, "What in the world's going on?" I uninstalled it. I went in and deleted my account, exited my account. They wanted to know why. I wrote them a little note, told them why, said goodbye. I found another VPN that works beautifully. I don't have to turn it on and off. It automatically turns on when I boot up my computer. Same thing with my phone. Same thing with my tablet. Works beautifully on all three. As soon as I turn it on, turn my tablet off after I've done reading the paper. Tomorrow morning when I turn it on, the VPN comes on first before it does anything else.
Mike,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
on the handout, you say to click apply on the, and now you're saying click OK and not apply.
Let me see.
That's what I was trying to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, okay. X out the word apply and put okay. Apply, the window would stay open. We don't, once you do that, you know, I need to do the same thing. Cross out the word apply and put the word okay there.
Zoom.
Okay, there we go. I have no idea. All right. Okay. So that's the second thing. You go through the same, to create a restore point. Basically, you do the same thing. You search for what? System restore, and this window right here pops up. So you search from your desktop screen, and you search for what? System restore, and the window pops up.
Okay.
Now, guess what you click on? If you look at this window now, what do you click on to create a restore point? Should be obvious.
System restore.
No,
Create.
right here at the bottom it says create.
Create.
You click on create to create a restore point.
So we didn't do it before?
No, we just turned on the system so you can create them. And
Okay.
so Windows itself can create them when it's doing a major update.
Okay.
If that was not turned on, you cannot create a restore point. There are no restore points, in fact. So we didn't create them, we just made sure we can. And we made sure that when Windows does a major update, it can create a restore point. So now we click on create. And you're supposed to give it a name. Well, the cursor is already blinking right there. Cursor's already blinking where you want to type a name. So I would say before VPN.
Virtual private network.
Right. I had to do that before I went to France because I was using my phone and my tablet every day over there. And all I used it for was to keep up with my email. I'm about ready to kill all my email and not use it anymore. Okay, now you do not have, okay, before you, some people, you ought to put the time and the date. Read what it says down here before the button create. Create a restore point right now for the drive that have system properties protection turned on. Okay, wait a minute. Up here at the top. Oh, sorry, I'm reading. Okay, that's what's down there. I want this last sentence that's above where I typed the name. The current date and time are added automatically. So you do not have to put the date or the time in the name. They are automatically added to it. Once you have done that, and I hope this works because I haven't tested it with Zoom, I click on create. And what it does is a little bar going across the screen here. It's creating the restore point. The restore point was created successfully. It doesn't take that long. That's nice. Okay, that's the nice part of it. So I say close. Okay, now, the third thing is restoring your computer to a previous time, a restore point that's before today's date. And that's the last button that's up here in this window. How do you get to this window again? You click on search and you type what? System restore, just like we did on the first two times. That always gets you to this window. You now click on system restore. And that opens another window and it gives you some directions. And again, this window you cannot change its size. You can't make it bigger. You cannot make it smaller. You just have to live with it. I'm holding the control key down and rolling on my mouse. And notice if I put my mouse pointer on the desktop and roll this, it makes everything larger or smaller. It will not change the size of this window. You're stuck with it. So if you need reading glasses to read it, put them on. System Restore can help fix problems that might be making your computer run slowly or stop responding. System Restore does not affect any of your documents, pictures, or other personal data. Recently installed programs and drivers might be uninstalled. So that's what I was saying. It doesn't change any of your documents. I mean, to me, when you say documents, that includes pictures and personal data and everything. Those are documents to me. So now what do? Click on Next. And what it does, notice, it lists some restore points. Tells why. The last one is a Windows update that occurred on 10/7. October 7th is when this happened. There was a Windows update. There was one today. Interesting. By the computer. No, yeah, that's today. That was a Windows update. There's the one I created. That was the type manual. Some of you might see this little square down here in the lower left. If you see that, that's nice. Because if you point at it and click on it, you see all these other possible updates and all these other possible restore points that have been created. And notice these go a little bit farther back in time. If your computer really starts messing up, stop. And don't wait 5 months before you bring it to somebody to have it try and fix it. This one person where it wouldn't boot into the computer correctly, we got into it. We were able to find a restore point 3 months, 5 or 6 months earlier, and went back that far. Another time person brought this in, I said, how long has this computer been doing this? 2 or 3 days. That was nice. We only went back 1 week, and it worked. It went back to the way the system was a week ago. And in fact, I had to call the person up to find out what happened, because she had a laptop and we started here's what happens. What you have to do is you have to choose one. So if I choose the oldest one, The oldest one is 9:29 at 9:16 a.m. So what I do is I click on the one I want. Right here, this is an option. If you click on this thing, scan for affected programs, it will tell you what programs it probably will probably not be there after you've restored your computer to this point. I don't know if it tells you updates that will be affected. I don't want to click on that because it could take up to 5-10 minutes to create the list. So I'm not going to do that. But I am going to come down here to click on next. This is the scary part. So bear with me. Okay. I did not get this window up. It says confirm your restore point. Did I get there? Yeah, I did. Okay. I don't want to click down at the bottom. I don't want to click on finish. When you click on finish, there's nothing you can do to stop what's going to happen. It's going to restore your computer. I've known the guy whose computer it wouldn't boot into it. I think it took 5 or 6 hours to restore it. Do not turn your computer off. Let it work. That 5 or 6 hours is probably the most I've ever heard of taking. Usually you're within a range of 1 to 2 hours maximum. But if I clicked on finish, guess what? I wouldn't be in Zoom anymore. I'd have to go over my second computer that I started up just in case I did something foolish, like touch or click on the wrong thing. But once this is done, my computer is restored to what it was like on August 29th. All right. So
the
I will
only
have
time you
what?
So the only time that you really would restore is when you're having a problem.
When you're having a major problem, yes. And you can't figure out anything else. I remember when I was with Windows, 7? Or what was before 7?
XP maybe?
XP. We went from XP to 8 and 8.5 and 7? Or no?
8 to 7.
Yeah. No, we didn't go backwards. We went forward.
XP 7 and then 8. Vista was in there somewhere.
Yeah. I remember even on my Windows 11 is a beautiful Windows 10 and Windows 11 to me are beautiful computer systems because they're stable. And what that means is things don't go wrong with them very often. With Windows XP or Windows 7, it seemed like I might run System Restore 4 times a year because things started happening. And we used it a lot to help people. But I'm not saying you should run it, but I'm telling you something about it that you might be able to, understand what's going on. And when you bring it in and somebody says, okay, we'll try a system restore, at least you got an idea what they're talking about. And if you create one before you install any software, that'll help even more. Because it might be that software messed up. Fortunately, I was able to uninstall that first VPN I put on my computer. And once I uninstalled it, I stopped having the trouble. So I didn't have to do a restore. I have no idea what it was doing, but I could tell the difference. And then I went out looking for some others. I usually go out and look for, when I'm looking for software, I'll look at how people rate different versions, different pieces of software that accomplish that task in question. And, I'll settle on one of the first 2 or 3 they rate. And the first one I used, there was just one guy in this newsletter I get was talking about how great he thought this thing was. And it wasn't great for me at all. I can't tell you the name of it because I forgot already. I went out and got this other VPN, and it's just working perfect. So that is, any questions? We'll stop sharing. Because once you're done, just exit out of the windows. The thing is if you do a restore, you'll be back to your desktop anyway. Okay. Questions?
Yes, Mike, I had a question. I don't add many things to my computer, but I do buy the new Corel Paint Shop Pro maybe
Right,
every 2
yeah.
years. So
Right.
before I install the newest version, I make a
I would-
restore point.
I create a
Yeah.
store point just to play it safe.
Good,
Even though
good.
I've installed Corel so many times, I've never had something go bad with it.
Yeah.
In the installation. Part of it's because I know what to do. And if there's pitfalls, I know what to avoid. But I never, I just installed it on the main desk or main laptop computer up in front of the SIG room now. And, it was simple. And I know it's not going to affect anything.
Yeah.
That is a stable piece of software. It's when you do crazy things like what I'm going to do next month. I found a piece of software that somebody recommended. I said, okay. I haven't started playing with it yet, but it's an uninstall program. And it's a little bit different than all the uninstall programs that are out there. And the nice thing is it's free and it works. And the person that recommended it it's one of the newsletters I read. They put a different new newsletter comes out every Monday. And I subscribe to it. I pay for it. But everything she's recommended and I've tried works perfect. Her and her husband have a computer repair shop out west. And, I imagine they get a lot of business because she's recommended software. Some of it I could care less about, and others, I saw this and I said, that's interesting. So next month.
Mike,
Yes.
do you care if I ask what VPN you have?
Let me see. I don't know.
Because I just saw today where Microsoft Edge has like a free VPN, and I
Yeah.
didn't know whether to try it.
Mine is called Proton, Proton.
Okay, I've heard of that one. I've heard of Nord,
Yeah.
and we actually have right now Norton's, but every time we turn around, they're adding more stuff and charging us more without even asking. So
Yeah, this thing is I can't remember. I don't even remember how much it cost me. But I paid for a whole year. If you pay for a whole year in advance, they gave such a good discount, I couldn't turn it down. And you can put it on like 8 different devices.
okay, so you haven't heard about the Edge having
No.
free
Well,
with Windows.
I have, but I don't use Edge. I keep reading articles about why you should use Edge. And I stay with what I use Chrome, but I use DuckDuckGo as a search engine. And DuckDuckGo is actually they're working on a browser, and it's going to be free also. Once DuckDuckGo browser comes out, I'm going to change my browser to DuckDuckGo and use DuckDuckGo as a search. And supposedly, they say they will not save information about you.
Yeah, we've been trying Foxfire for a difference, but I don't know.
Yeah. Any other questions? I mean, it's a short topic. I didn't realize
Thank
it was
you.
going to be that short, but I think it's something very important that everybody needs to know about that has a Windows computer. Because it's built-in software. It's there for you to use. You need to use it. All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. No questions. That's it, folks.